Hello and welcome to Rock Music History Lesson. I'm K.W. King. Today, a group that has sold over 50 million records, Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. Part 1 of 2 on Rock Music History Lesson. Robert Clark Seger was born May 6, 1945 in Detroit and raised in Ann Arbor, Michigan. His father loved music, and Bob was influenced by listening to his father play various instruments. Seger's parents had a troubled marriage, and his father abandoned the family, leaving his wife and kids to fend for themselves when Bob was just 10 years old. While growing up as a teenager, Seger would lie in bed late at night listening to his transistor radio. His favorite station was WLAC in Nashville with DJ John R., who played Southern R&B like James Brown, Wilson Pickett, Solomon Burke, and the Towns. His jobs early on were with Ford and GM. He also played music. Seger's first job was putting rubber around windshields for Ford, which lasted 10 days because he kept cutting his hand. Not good if you play guitar. His next job was a conveyor loader for GM. He had several jobs because his brother was in Vietnam and he became the sole supporter for his mother since she had no skills except to clean other people's houses. Seger joined his first band, the Decibels, in 1961. Also in 1961, the Decibels recorded a demo of a song called The Lonely One. It was Bob Seger's first original song to be played on the radio, and it aired only once on an Ann Arbor, Michigan radio station. After the Decibels disbanded, Seger joined the Town Criers. A few years later, he joined Doug Brown and the Omens. In 1966, he started his own band, Bob Seger and the Last Herd, and he released his first single with the band, East Side Story, which reached number 3 on the Detroit charts. In the spring of 1968, Bob Seger and Punch Andrews, who became Seger's longtime manager, were looking for a new record label since their former label Cameo Parkway suddenly went out of business. Bob Seger and the Last Herd signed with a major label, Capitol Records. They were offered a deal with Motown, but Capitol offered more money. Plus, Seger felt Capitol was more appropriate for his style of music. Capitol changed the name of the band to the Bob Seger System. The system's first single was 2 + 2 =, which was an anti-war message. The single was a hit in Detroit and a few other cities, but went unnoticed everywhere else and failed to chart nationally in the U.S. In 1969, Seger gained national attention with the Capitol release of the single Ramblin Gamblin Man, which reached number 17 on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart. Bob Seger and Glenn Frey, who later helped form the Eagles, were best friends. Seger didn't forget his friend because Frey played acoustic guitar and provided background vocals on Ramblin Gamblin Man. Their friendship lasted for 50 years until Frey's untimely death in 2016. After the success of Ramblin Gamblin Man, the Bob Seger System broke up. Bob Seger recorded 6 albums between 1969 and 1974, including Back in '72, which includes Turn the Page, a song that was never released as a single, but was and still is played on classic rock radio stations around the country and the world. Around this time marked the beginning of Seger's longtime friendship with future Silver Bullet Band saxophonist Alto Reed. Alto tells the story of how the haunting saxophone came to him on Turn the Page after having a conversation with road manager Tom Welshler. Bob Seger played the track for him, and road manager Tom Welshler said, "Alto, picture a black and white movie, man with the golden arm, late at night with rain on the street in the alley." Alto started playing and turned to Bob and said, "Do you like it?" Bob turns to Tom and says, "Tell him another story." And as we know, the rest is history. The Silver Bullet Band came together in October of 1973. The band recorded the album Beautiful Loser and was released in 1975. The title cut, along with Kathmandu, became a popular classic radio staple. Kathmandu was featured in the 1985 movie Mask, starring Cher. Seger was getting closer to a second chance at success. It came in 1976 with two albums, Live Bullet and Night Moves. The single Night Moves was recorded at Nimbus 9 Studios in Toronto, Canada, and the remainder of the album in Muscle Shoals, Alabama with the Muscle Shoals Rhythm Section, and Pampa Sound Studios in Warren, Michigan. It was his first top 5 single. The song was about cars and rolled-up t-shirts and stiletto-pointed shoes. That's how Seger grew up during his high school years. Seger says the song is autobiographical, and he wrote the song in an attempt to capture the freedom and looseness he experienced during that part of his life. Night Moves was also inspired by the movie American Graffiti. 2 other songs were released from the album, Main Street in April 1977 and Rock and Roll Never Forgets in July 1977. 3 other songs from the album that are still popular on classic rock radio are The Fire Down Below, Sunspot Baby, and Come to Papa. A major breakthrough came when Seger was asked by the band Kiss to tour with them. The band came to see them play after Live Bullet was released. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band joined the tour. Seger says they were a great group of guys and were very nice to him and the band. Seger also toured with Bachman Turner Overdrive. In May 1978, Seger's 10th studio album, Stranger in Town, was released. Like its predecessor, the Silver Bullet Band backed Seger on about half the songs, and the Muscle Shoals Rhythm Section backed Seger on the other half. The album was an instant success, becoming platinum, selling 1 million copies in less than a month after the album's release, and like its predecessor Night Moves, it would go 6 times platinum. The album garnered 4 singles, Still the Same reaching number 4 on the charts in April '78, Hollywood Nights number 12 in August '78, We've Got Tonight number 13 in October '78, and Old Time Rock and Roll number 28 in April 1979, which was written by George Jackson and Thomas E. Jones III. Seger substantially rewrote the lyrics to Old Time Rock and Roll, but didn't take 1/3 writing credit. His manager, Punch Andrews, said, "Ask for 1/3 of the credit." Seger replied, "Nah, nobody's gonna like it." Seger has said that financially, that was the dumbest thing I ever did. The song has been ranked the 2nd most played jukebox single of all time, behind Patsy Cline's Crazy. Seger's next album, Against the Wind, came after 3 hit albums and never-ending tours. Against the Wind became his first and only album to reach number 1 on the Billboard album chart. The first single, Fire Lake, was released in February 1980 and reached number 6 on the charts. Backing vocals were provided by his good friends Glenn Frey, Don Henley, and Timothy B. Smith of the Eagles. 3 months later, his second hit, the title cut, reached number 5 on the charts, followed by You'll Accompany Me and The Horizontal Bop. Against the Wind would also win a Grammy Award for Best Rock Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocal. Thanks for watching Rock Music History Lesson. I'm K.W. Keeney. We'd appreciate if you would comment, like, share, and hit that subscribe button. Rock Music History Lesson is produced by K-Dubba Productions.